Yeah.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die. Hey, swing those hips around. Can't stop, roll back down. My ladies, short, tall, thin or wide, always down and ready to ride.
This video is brought to you by Dewet&Bikes. If you like what you see, pay us a visit and view our beautiful stock available.
Raise your hand if you're ready and willing. If you know it's time.
What's up, homies? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are on a 2007 CBR600. Now, this is the only CBR, or actually the only 600, should I say, that I haven't ridden, other than the likes of a 636. We're just banging it out, boys. We are quite short on time today, so yeah, we're just going to be a little bit of a rush. But yeah, we've got a little bit of modifications going on here. We've got some nice shorty levers, and other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. We do have a stock exhaust, but they like bored everything out in there, so it's just loud as shit and it's super raspy. Otherwise, yeah, we've got some frame sliders, some nice tank grips. I'm a huge fan of that. But yeah, other than that, pretty much stock. And you know, that's the way we like it around here. You know, I don't like too many modifications. We've got these weird sticker things on the lights that kind of change the color a bit. We've got a Puke racing screen. I must say, I'm super interested to see how this is going to compare to all the other 600s. I know a lot of people have negative things to say about these. They like the slowest 600s, but yeah, I don't think that's the case. For those wondering, as I said, it's a 2007, and this specific bike is selling for about 85,000. So if you're interested, hop over onto the Dewet&Bikes website and you'll be able to find this beauty and take her home with you. So yeah, boys, enough said. We are basically just gonna jump on it and hit the road. We've got some of the boys with us. We actually just finished off with a group ride, and we did that on the triple. So yeah, I mean, for a 600, that sounds pretty damn good.
What's up, homies? So a quick interruption and a reminder that we do post extended cuts of each and every review that we upload. Now, these extended cuts are a little bit longer, sometimes double the length of the videos that you're currently watching, and it just includes additional information, a few things that don't make it into the shorter cuts, more footage of us riding, more footage of the guys on the bikes, some more behind the scenes stuff, and a whole lot more. So if you don't want to miss out on that, smash that sub button, turn on notifications, and you won't miss it.
Now, if this thing impresses me, it might just end up being my next bike. I was thinking of either one of these or the 750s, but a lot of people had negative things to say about these bikes, mainly being that they're a little bit slow. The boys are losing their minds a little bit, yeah. We've been riding since like 7 a.m. This is its chance to prove itself to me. If it's nice, we might just have to get ourselves one, boys. But they're very popular, very popular. I would say, other than the street triples, they are definitely the more popular 600s. And for good reason, you know, they are. They look nice and they're reliable. That's what I can say without even riding one. And also in South Africa specifically, it's probably one of the bikes that it's probably the bike that has the most parts available for it. If not the 600, definitely the 1000s. I mean, those bikes are everywhere. Almost as popular as the double R's. So, as we always do, we're gonna get going with the comfort first. Now, it's worth mentioning, right? I just got off of the triple. I'm getting off of my bike, which I love and I know it very well. And I'm getting onto something that's completely foreign. However, the first thing that I'm noticing is that somehow this is more comfortable than my triple. The other thing is that I have been riding, well, I did ride that bike for about an hour and a half, 2 hours this morning, so You know, that could have definitely played a role in me not being comfortable. But this is nice. I like this a lot. It's very comfy. The clip-ons are a little bit low, but they don't seem as low as like the R6 or anything like that. It's quite a little compact bike. You know, everything is nice and close. On the R6, everything seemed quite far away. Definitely feels smaller. But what I've noticed with Honda is that they tend to make pretty comfortable bikes. You know, the Africa Twin is comfy, the CBR1000s are comfy. So yeah, it's the comfort rating going to be a little bit of a weird one because I've been riding the entire day, so my body's already a little bit worn out. Yeah, my body's a little bit worn out already, so that's definitely going to play a role in me deciding how comfortable this thing is. So I'm going to have to be a little bit more lenient with that. My knees are a little bit high up, and the same with the feet, but I like where they are. I like where the foot pegs are positioned in relation to the bike itself. You know, they don't feel too far forward or too far back. The only thing that I can say is that I'm sitting a little bit far forward. And that's the same thing that I had to say about the CBR1000s, that it felt like I was a little bit too on top of the bike. But as I said, they make comfy bikes. So with the whole sitting a little bit far forward thing, my manhood is a little bit uncomfortable. It's not bad, like the tank grips are definitely saving me a lot of pain, but there's definitely some pressure over there, you know. Whoa. A lot of vibration though, especially in the feet, which is weird. That's not something that I've experienced before. Well, unless we talk about the Harley Davidson, but I feel like that's a given. It's not something that I've really experienced before on the sport bikes or street bikes, should I say. I would have to say that it's much less aggressive, and I'm speaking in terms of the riding position. I would say the R6 is definitely up there. Right below that, I'm going to go in with the Daytona. And then I'm going to have to put the Gixxer 600. Yeah. I'm going to go with the Gixxer 600, and then I'm going to have to put this one. It's not very laid over or sporty at all in comparison, which is quite nice. I actually like it. Again, it's going to differ from person to person, and you know, at the end of the day, it all comes down to personal preference, you know, and what you enjoy and what your preferences are. Bye, Neo. Boys are splitting off. And it's down to the 3 CBRs. Boom, boom, boom. Look at that. Yeah. There's nothing quite like going full tuck on a sport bike, eh? There's nothing quite like it. Especially after fighting with the wind the entire day on my street triple. Okay, well, brakes are sufficient. I think they're probably using Tokusos or Tosicos or something like that. Oh my word, it's hot. But yeah, it's a very good balanced riding position, you know. It's not too leaned over, you're not too high up. Are you following us? Are you following us? Where are you going? Zap! I mean, I've had nothing but good things to say about the comfort so far. It's a really comfy bike. I'd say the only sport bike that's been more comfortable has been the Gixxer 750, but that bike just fit me like an absolute glove. So for that reason, I'm going to give this thing a 9.3. 9.3 for comfort. I like that. Now I'm going to do acceleration before I do maneuverability. just because I've got a much better grasp of what the acceleration is like at this point in time. See, it only really wakes up at about 9k RPMs. It's between 7 and 9. That's where it starts coming to life. Which it has its pros and cons, right? If you are a beginner, that's absolutely perfect. That's why if anyone asks me, can I start on a 600 or what 600 should I start on, I say R6 all day, because those bikes have such a chilled out low end. I haven't leaned a sport bike in a little while. A lot of vibration on the feet. A lot. There's still tire shine on these wheels, so I don't want to lean it too much. Now, a little side note. I know we're talking about acceleration here, but can we just appreciate the fact that a 2007 bike has a fuel gauge? Oh, imagine that, a 2009 Triumph Street Triple with steel braided lines, stock standard, and you don't get a fuel gauge. I mean, what the fuck is that about? Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to agree with the people. It doesn't feel as fast as the R6. It doesn't feel as fast as the Gixxer 600. So, it's got that top end. It really does. I'm not gonna deny that. But it really is lacking in that low end. It really is. And I don't know what's caused that. I don't know, because we had a completely bone stock 2010 or 2012 CBR600, and that thing was beautiful. It was so smooth. It hit in like 5k, 6k RPMs. That bike was beautiful. But this one, it's a little bit different, just a little bit. But it's still good, it is. There's nothing wrong with it. If it just had that little bit of extra sauce, let's say it hit at about 6, then that would be much better. But this thing is hitting at about 8 or 9. It's way too much of a delay for me. I want to give it a 7, but that seems so harsh. But that's the number that's coming to my mind. Listen, Garen and AJ, I'm sorry, gents, but it's just not spicy enough for me in those low revs, I'm sorry, gents, it's just not there. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give it a 7. I would really like to give it a higher rating. There's a fly in my helmet. Get up! Alright, so it's the following morning, and forgive me if I sound a little bit tired. It's a very early start to a Monday for your boy. So we're going to finish off the maneuverability and the looks. So we're going to talk about maneuverability first, because I would like to talk about looks when we can actually kind of, take a walk around the bike and look at its features. So I would like to, guys, in terms of maneuverability, it doesn't really stand out. It's not bad, it's not great. It just seems kind of decent, it's not amazing, it's not terrible. But the other issue is that I didn't really get a proper chance to have a look at its maneuverability. As I said, there was tire shine on the wheels, so I just had to be super careful. It's quite a smooth bike in terms of like the gears and the shifting. And power band, not so much. See, I'm getting distracted. I'm starting to talk about other stuff about the bike because there's nothing to say about maneuverability. You know what? I'm not gonna try and push it any further than it needs to be pushed, right? It's good. It's not amazing. It's not terrible. It's mid. I can't really give you guys a real clear answer on it because I haven't been riding it in the conditions that I need to be riding it in to get a good grasp. Like I said with the 1190, it does what you want it to do. It's not a case of you wanting it to do something and it refusing. Like it's maneuverable. I'm not gonna say it isn't. It's just not crazy. What I prefer in the bikes, especially the sport bikes, is if they hoy you into that corner. Like you don't really have a choice. Oh, my foot stayed on the shifter there. Yeah, I like it when I'm getting thrown into that corner. Like when you just don't have a choice. You start leaning and then the bike is just like, wah! That's what I like. And that's exactly what the Daytona and R6 did. It's just like you don't have a choice. You have to be Marc Marquez. So I'm gonna stop myself from yapping about it and saying insignificant things. And I'm just gonna give it a rating, okay? I'm gonna give it, now this hurts. Unfortunately I have to give it this rating. But understand that I haven't been able to test it accurately, okay? I'm gonna have to give it a 7. A 7 for maneuverability. Much to my despair. Alright, so we'll finish off the looks a little bit later on today when you can actually stand with the bike and have a look at it. I think I turned there without indicating. Yeah. But yeah, I'll see you homies a little bit later. Peace.
Alright, what's up homies? So it's like, no jokes, probably 3 or 4 weeks later. As you can see, the camera setup is a little bit different. Reason is, I don't want to have to put my helmet on to basically just finish off a video. And also I wanted to talk about it because your boy has a new lid. Oh yeah, look at it. It's a little bit dirty. But yeah, it's a Scorpion R1 Air. As I said, it's been probably like 3 or 4 weeks now since I last actually rode this thing, or since I did the full review. Yeah, the last thing that we needed to talk about was the looks. And I mean, I was actually looking at it the other day because obviously I bought photos of it, and I must say it's actually one of the nicer looking CBR, or it's one of the nicer looking 600s you can get your hands on. Yes, Danny Shelley. Is it Danny Shelley? Don't flip the YouTubers off. As I was saying, it's one of the nicer looking 600s, in my opinion. But in general, you know, the 600s, they actually look nice. I think, you know, the Daytonas look nice, the R6s look nice. I can't...
Pink lights look nice.
No, I'm not... Actually, I do kind of like that. I'm not talking about that yet, Shelly. I'm talking about 600s. But yeah, this thing just looks super nice. It's got a really nice side profile. I love the face. I love how the fairing is actually split up there. The only thing that I'm not crazy about with these underslung exhausts is that it does make it look super thick here at the back. But yeah, all in all, I'm a huge fan of how this CBR looks in particular. I've seen a lot of CBRs, you know, Garen, he's got a blue one. We've had a full red one in here. And I actually think that this white and black is the best one that I've actually seen. It's the best color combo. I think it's white on a bike is very much so overlooked. People don't realize how nice it actually looks. So to see it like this is actually a little bit refreshing. It's not common that you see white on a bike. I mean, the front of the bike is super nice. You guys all know by now that I'm not crazy about mirrors. So the first thing that I would do is rip these off, get some lacquer winglets on there. Indicators, I think they are stock. That's why they're so huge. So, I mean, we're going to minus a point for that, the mirrors and indicators. You got your frame sliders, obviously. I do like the fact that they don't stand out, so that's super nice, I must say. We've got a Pugue or Puge racing screen. I do like that a lot. It looks much better than the stock one. As I've mentioned previously, we've got these stickers over the lights, which I'm surprised haven't been taken off yet, but I think they look pretty cool. Kind of just changes the color of your lights a little bit. Looks quite nice, quite nice. I must say, as I said previously, it is one of the better looking 600s out there. It's a very, very close one with this and the R6. And I would put this, the R6 and the Daytona, kind of all on the same level. So I'm not sure what rating I gave the R6. I'm going to give it a solid, I'm going to give it a 8.2 out of 10. I feel like that fits it pretty damn well. With the Hondas, I've noticed it's quite common that there's this gap over here, which is super weird. I don't know why. I don't know if it's with every single Honda out there, but with all the Hondas that I've seen, not so much on the back here, but definitely at the front, there's that gap, and it's super weird. I don't know why that exists, but anyways, man. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised. I was expecting it to be slower. I wasn't expecting it to be as comfortable as it was. Yes, there was that vibration in the feet, which is something that is completely new to me. I've never experienced that before, but I mean, it wasn't terrible. So I think that's also something that you can counteract. I'm sure there's some way to help it, but yeah, that's kind of the only real thing that I can remember that bothered me. So I'm sure there was maybe one or two other things, but they couldn't have been major because I actually can't recollect having other issues. So yeah, overall guys, it was a solid review. I had an awesome time. I know I did say that this bike would almost determine what bike it is that I'm getting next, well, what sport bike I'll get when the time comes, but it didn't do enough for me to decide that this is the one for me. Again, right now I'm still leaning towards those Daytonas. It's been the one bike that I've ridden that I still enjoy, you know, even with what I've got going on right now. So I think at the end of the day, if it still came down to a choice of Yamaha, CBR, whatever the case is, I still think I'm going to go for that Daytona 675. The R6 was nice. The Daytona just felt like a slightly more comfortable, earlier hitting bike. So for that reason, I would still go with the 675. I wasn't crazy about this Gixxer 600s. Obviously, I still need to get a proper review out on one. But yeah, we'll see what happens when that happens. That over there.
Is it like it?
Yes, dude. Is becoming a little bit of a problem for me. So I did record half of a review, well actually not even half, I recorded a quarter of a review on this last weekend, and then it started raining. This bike is going to become a problem for me because yeah, you guys are just going to have to wait for the review, but what I can say right now is that this bike specifically is going to become a big problem for me. I know it is, especially after the review. This is going to become a big, very big problem for me and also my bank account. But anyways, back to what we're actually talking about. The CBR600. Guys, once again, just to wrap it up, I had an awesome time. However, it's not going to be the one for me. I still need to ride that ZX6. That's going to be the one that actually decides it. You know, what am I going to go with when it comes to 600s? So yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see and hope that we get an opportunity to ride one and get a review out and see where it falls in. So yeah, boys, homies, homettes, whoever, I don't know. Guys, if you made it through to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys all in the next one, which is going to be a review on that 1190. And yo guys, once again, thank you so much for watching if you made it through to the end of the video. I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Peace.